Firefighters remind you to check your smoke detectors this weekend during daylight saving time.
Spooky video of nesting barn owlets in northern Utah.
And today is Halloween, tips and tricks to keep you safe tonight. Welcome to NewsLine and happy Halloween. It's Thursday, October 31st. I'm Chris Jacobs.
And I'm Kim Peterson. Daylight savings is this Sunday, and when you turn the clocks back, fire officials say you should also check your smoke detectors too.
NewsLine reporter Halston Brown tells us why we should take the time to check our smoke detectors.
While the time changes automatically on our phones, smoke detectors need extra care. Fire officials encourage the public to use daylight saving as a reminder to check our smoke detectors. Failing to check your smoke detectors could have catastrophic consequences.
A lot of house fires come from electrical issues, so if you don't change the batteries in your smoke detector, they don't have a backup power source. So if the problem is electrical and you lose power in your home before that alarm goes off, then it would not notify you.
While the beep of a smoke detector might be really inconvenient, it might just save your life. According to the National Fire Protection Association, 3 out of 5 house fire deaths occur in homes without a working smoke detector. To check to see if your detector is working, simply press the test button and it should sound an alarm. You should test your detector monthly. Most smoke detectors take 9-volt batteries, which should be changed 1 to 2 times a year.
But I have been on calls where they are unable to figure out how to change it or neglected it. Now it's waking them up in the 3 in the morning and they're not sure why it's going off or what's going on.
So while you enjoy your extra hour of sleep this weekend, make sure you are sleeping safe and sound by checking your smoke detector. Reporting for NewsLine in Orem, I'm Halston Brown.
The Utah Department of Alcoholic Beverage Control has run out of bar licenses for potential business owners. This is the second shortage in the last 2 years. The last 2 permits were handed out earlier this week, and 5 prospective bars, some of them hoping to open in November, have been placed on a waiting list. Permits are only made available if another bar relinquishes their license or the population increases to an approved level, as Utah legislation only allows 1 bar per 10,200 people. And Budweiser's Clydesdales came to Utah to mark the end of 3.2 beer in the state with a spooky funeral. The Budweiser Clydesdales and a ghoulish group of pallbearers held a procession through downtown Salt Lake City last night. The procession was to celebrate the upcoming change in Utah beer laws. Beginning tomorrow, 3.2% beer will no longer be sold in Utah. Beer will now have a 4% alcohol content and will be sold in grocery and convenience stores. The horses will also be part of the Halloween parade in Ogden.
Smith's has reversed its ban on Visa credit cards. Kroger officials say they will now take Visa at all locations. The supermarket chain banned the credit cards back in April, stating that Visa was charging high fees to their retailers. At the time, Kroger said those fees inflate food prices, which impacts customers.
50 Utah veterans boarded a flight for Washington, D.C. earlier today. The group consists of mostly Vietnam veterans and will visit memorials built in honor of their service and sacrifice. The veterans will return to Utah on November 2nd. Members of the public are invited to attend the home celebration at the Box Elder County Fairgrounds in the Tremonton to welcome the vets back home when they return. The Defense Prisoner of War / Missing in Action Accounting Agency announces a World War II soldier from Utah has been accounted for. Marine Corps Reserve Private First Class Robert J. Hatch from Woods Cross was killed on November 22, 1943 on the island of Betio, where the U.S. fought against the Japanese. Hatch will be buried in Bountiful on December 14th.
The Wayne County Sheriff's Office and Deputy Brandon Burr have received social media threats over their decision to put down a dog that attacked Deputy Burr. A warning, these pictures may be too graphic for some viewers. Deputy Burr was attacked by the dog with no provocation when visiting with a friend. Deputy Burr said he didn't think he could get the dog to the kennel without more injury and decided to put it down for safety concerns, in line with the county ordinance. Further investigation into these threats will take place. A Cedar City K-9 unit is sporting some new bulletproof armor this afternoon. Cedar City Police Department's K-9 Max has received a bullet and stab protective vest thanks to a charitable donation from nonprofit organization Vested Interest in Canines Incorporated. The vest was sponsored by Joanna Boyd of Leeds, Utah, and embroidered with the sentiment, "Born to love, trained to serve, loyal always." Max is a 3-year-old Belgian Malinois that is a dual-purpose canine devoted to policing. He is certified in patrol and narcotics.
The Utah Highway Patrol is increasing DUI enforcement for the Halloween weekend. Law enforcement officers will be working over 200 extra shifts today to deter, detect, and remove impaired drivers on the roads. Utah Highway Patrol says to help people get home safely, call 911 if you see a drunk driver. If you have a friend who is about to drink and drive, take their keys away. Always plan before you party, and remember that it is never okay to drink and drive. Department of Public Health says a DUI can set you back $10,000.
Halloween is a time for tricks and treats, but it should also be a safe celebration. Here's some tips to help kids and families stay safe while enjoying Halloween tonight. For costumes, make sure all costumes, wigs, and accessories are fire resistant. Avoid masks, which can obstruct vision. Fasten reflective tape to costumes and bags, or use glow sticks. While trick-or-treating, a responsible adult should accompany young children on the neighborhood rounds. If older children are going alone, plan and review a safe route. Put phones down, keep heads up. Don't walk, don't run across the streets.
For one Utah restaurant owner, the paranormal is normal. Anessa Pennington discovered a restaurant in Santaquin that is said to be haunted. Anessa, what can you tell us about this restaurant?
The Leslie Family Tree Restaurant is known for its country cooking and its visitors from beyond the veil. One morning, Leslie Broadhead came into her restaurant when she heard noises from the kitchen.
So I walked out and I went in to get my purse because I thought maybe there's somebody in here, robbing or burglarizing me or something.
And she found 3 chairs stacked on a table with her purse on top. Not a soul in sight, not a living one at least. That's right, the Leslie Family Tree Restaurant is said to be haunted by more than 100 ghosts.
There was one time me and my sister, or my daughter, was in the kitchen, and all of a sudden we heard this little tiny spirit talking.
People haven't just heard ghosts, they've seen them too.
I seen what I thought was my grandma in that back room. I just kind of seen a little short brown hair with a pink hoodie and blue jeans, what she was wearing, walk into that back room, turn around to ask her a question, and disappeared on me.
Leslie's restaurant is not a local secret. Several TV shows, including The Dead Files and Ghost Adventures, have filmed on site.
They've had their cameras that they set up downstairs that are motion activated, and something literally is picking up the camera and moving it all over the place, and for about 23 minutes.
But the knowledge that ghosts may roam the restaurant doesn't scare people off.
Most people, 90% I think of the people, like to know that there's something after death. So I think most people is excited about it.
And even if it is scary, many customers say it's worth the visit for Leslie's famous deep-fried scones. Leslie's daughter, Corey, runs a ghost tour at the restaurant all year round. Interested people can schedule one by texting her at 801-830-9635.
Thanks, Anessa.
When it comes to celebrating Halloween, how dedicated can someone be? Some are dedicated enough to brave freezing temperatures. NewsLine reporter Emma Benson went to Corn Bellies last night to see what all the fun was about. Emma, exactly how cold was it?
Well, it was a chilly 20 degrees last night, but that didn't stop 1,500 people from visiting Corn Bellies, most of which were BYU students. The BYU Student Service Association collaborated with Corn Bellies to invite the student body to Thanksgiving Point last night. BYUSA members handed out cookies and hot chocolate to students coming out of the corn maze. BYUSA volunteer Cassidy Toon said the Student Association wanted to do an activity that they knew the students would love.
We're very centered around the students. We wanted to make sure that they had a really exciting experience and that they were able to have an enjoyable fall.
And they were right. The students loved it. More than 1,300 students bought tickets, one of the highest ticket-selling BYUSA events. Though the temperatures were dropping by the hour, the cold didn't bother them anyway. Corn Bellies marketing director Camille Coombs was surprised by the turnout.
Tonight has been great having BYUSA here. We've had lots more students come than we anticipated on kind of a chilly night, but everyone's made the most fun of it.
Corn Bellies provided fire pits and hand warmers to attendees. Even Cosmo the Cougar showed up with the Cosmo Bill. Coombs has worked at Corn Bellies ever since it opened 24 years ago.
I love seeing the memories that are made and the traditions that are created. We have people that come here now with their own children that first started coming when they were children. And it's just really fun to see how it's become part of people's fall tradition.
People played games, bought pumpkins, and of course, ventured through the famous corn maze, which USA Today voted one of the top 10 corn mazes in the nation.
This was a really great place to be and a really great place to have fun during the Halloween season.
Corn Bellies is not open today for Halloween, but will reopen tomorrow and Saturday for pumpkin smashing. Back to you.
Thanks, Emma. Take a look at this chilling video from the Utah Division of Wildlife Resources. The division says no, this isn't a trailer for a new horror flick, but nesting barn owlets in northern Utah. They say the ghostly appearance of the barn owl is just one of the many qualities that make these birds creepy cool.
One of Utah's biggest cultural events is happening this weekend.
Who the event is celebrating and why.
Really quickly. It's a little out of control. No, I seriously can't.
What a new study suggests for building resilient kids.
Need a last-minute costume idea? I'll tell you this year's most popular Halloween costumes.
Plus, if the cold is bothering you and it's holding you back, a look at the weekend temperatures might help you let it go. Queen Elsa's full forecast is next.
Mental health is a topic that is deservingly gaining more and more awareness. Newsline reporter Juliet Favero gives us an inside look of the number one mental health issue in Utah, postpartum depression.
According to a study conducted by Term Life to Go, while other states' leading issues are internet addiction and anxiety, Utah's most prevalent mental health concern involves mothers. Brittany Lindsay, a mother of 4 living in Cedar Hills, Utah, recounts her experience with postpartum depression.
So Ben and I had babies right off the bat. Arabelle never let our honeymoon babies. I just remember thinking I feel so inadequate. I feel like I'm failing these babies because I am just exhausted all the time and I'm looking at them, trying to love them like I know I should be loving them. I couldn't appreciate them. I loved them and I gave my all to them, but I couldn't appreciate the sweet newbornness or really the whole first year because it's survival mode.
She says that while this can be hard to endure, there is a light at the end of the tunnel.
And one night I was driving through Spanish Ford Canyon and I remember just being this close to driving off the cliff because I just didn't want to. I was so tired. I didn't like my life. I didn't even like myself. I didn't know myself anymore. I completely lost myself in taking care of these babies. Just because you're depressed for a certain amount of time in your life in that postpartum depression phase doesn't mean that you'll always be that way. Really, I don't know when it happened. I was just myself again, and it was awesome.
For those suffering from postpartum depression, there is support in friends and family, Facebook groups and other online resources, and mental health professionals. Reach out and they will help you. Reporting for Newsline in Provo, I'm Juliet Favero.
If you are struggling with postpartum depression or with any other mental illness, you can call the Suicide Prevention Hotline at 1-800-273-8255.
The biggest cultural event in Utah is happening in 2 days. Valentina Yingling went to the conference center and got a sneak peek of the annual Light of the Nations event on Saturday. Valentina?
The conference center of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints will once again be filled with Latin flavor for the Luz de las Naciones event. The event will showcase the different dance, music, and art of several Latin countries such as Brazil and Mexico. From the colorful dresses to a giant piñata, the conference center is preparing for its annual fiesta. Although it will not be raining candy inside of the conference center, the piñata will be hung above the stage and lowered in parts of the show. The stage is decorated with bright, colorful art, beautifully depicting the life and brightness of the Latino culture. The show will be multilingual, with songs in both English and Spanish, but it will be easily understood and enjoyed by all, regardless of language. Luz de las Naciones is the largest cultural event of its kind in Utah. It has, for the past 19 years, celebrated the richness of the Latino culture through dance and through music.
When I heard that Brazil was going to be in the show, it was like an answer to my prayer. I've been wishing and wondering and praying that one day I will see Brazil in this show that I have watched for the last 13 years.
With months of rehearsal behind them, the performers are excited to represent their culture alongside their religion.
I'm so grateful because I know the Lord is watching over us.
The show is meant to not only bring the Latin community together, but to bring everyone together in celebration of culture.
We all came together, and it was wonderful to see the whole cast praying and fasting so we could get this number this far.
Join us for the Luz de las Naciones November 2nd at 8 p.m. at the Conference Center. Reporting for NewsLine, Valentina Yingling.
Thanks, Valentina.
Today, people all around the world are ditching their sweaters for face paint and capes.
Kenzie McGuire is here to tell us what costumes you're likely to see this year.
Happy spooky season. Let's find out what costumes you'll see tonight. Now, 83 movies have been released this year, with big names like Avengers Endgame, It 2, and Joker. And Netflix specials like Stranger Things can all be used as inspiration for your costume this year. Some celebrities are even channeling throwback feels with group costumes like NSYNC, but no matter what, you can have a costume too. Now Google is here and they've made a list of all of the trending searches that they've been seeing for costumes, including It, Witches, I personally prefer wizards, but that's just me, Spider-Man, dinosaur, and we even have things like Descendants, clowns, Fortnite, Chucky. Honestly, it can go on and on. If you need some inspiration for how to do it, this user posted that all you really need is a rain jacket and a red balloon. And Monica posted about the fact that if you just find a little onesie and a yellow jacket, you can be the best Spider-Man Zendaya combo. Now, if you're not really feeling any of those, again, Google has you set. They have an app called the Costume Wizard, where you can choose your spookiness level, your style, classic or modern, or the trend meter. And after you press submit, it'll give you an idea of what you should be. So even if you don't have your finalized costume, there's still plenty of last minute options. So throw something on and cause some mischief tonight.
Well, even outer space wants to get all dressed up and into the Halloween spirit. NASA released this image today of the Jack-o'-lantern nebula. What you're actually seeing is just a mixture of gas and dust that was carved out by a big star, but they also included that little outline there, so even you can better spot that pumpkin Jack-o'-lantern nebula. Pretty cool out there in space. Here in Utah, though, you can see we got some good snow from that last storm up here in our upper elevations, but right now this is a look of Salt Lake City. Not a lot going on today, but I want to give you a trick-or-treating forecast because it's going to be chilly tonight. I want to walk through these temperatures with you. So today at about 4 p.m., starting early for trick-or-treating, still cool out there, 45 degrees. 2 hours later at 6 p.m., it's only going to be 42. Then by 8 o'clock tonight, it might be too late. You'll be at about 30 degrees, so it's going to be so cool, 35. That's a 10-degree drop between those 4 hours. So I would suggest go out early, but if you don't want to go out early, you want to go out when it's dark and spooky out there, you might want to put some underlayers on your costume, a big coat, because it is cool. Now today for our temperatures across the Wasatch Front, we're not going to be getting much warmer. It's going to take us a while to warm up from that last storm. So we're staying cool in the 40s and upper 30s, Logan at 38. 15 tonight for the low for trick-or-treaters out there. Salt Lake 43 and 22. Provo at 45 degrees. Richfield down there, 20 degrees, really cool. And then St. George, 60 degrees, but you're also in those freezing temperatures, 31 tonight. So get started early with that trick-or-treating. Now for St. George, they're going to warm up a little more quickly than the northern Wasatch Front will. You can see clear for the rest of the weekend in the 70s, really nice into next week. For northern Utah, it's going to take us a while to warm up. We're going to stay cold. We're really going to be in this upper 50 range basically into next week. But we will have clear weather, so have fun out there trick-or-treating, stay warm, and we'll see you in just a few minutes.
1 in 3 adults has pre-diabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your favorite brother, your other brother, you, your football buddy, your football buddy, you, the boss's boss. If 1 in 3 adults has pre-diabetes, that means it could be you, your barber, your barber's barber.
Nice work. Thanks.
You, your plumber,
Breathe right into your foot.
your plumber's masseuse.
Yes.
You, your dog walker,
On your left.
your cat jogger. Or you, your co-pilot, your co-pilot's co-pilot. While 1 in 3 adults has pre-diabetes, with early diagnosis, pre-diabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org to know where you stand.
Here's to the things that can keep us safe. Those we use all the time with hardly a thought. Those that are silently standing by to save our lives. And now, those that we carry with us everywhere we go. Many mobile devices will now bring you wireless emergency alerts, real-time information directly from local sources you know and trust. With the unique sound and vibration, you'll be in the know, wherever you are.
The Washington Nationals are World Series champions.
3-2. There it is! The Washington Nationals are world champions for the first time in franchise history.
The Nationals beat the Houston Astros 6-2 in Game 7 to clinch the title. They were behind for the first 6 innings before earning their 6th unanswered runs. Pitcher Steven Strasburg was given MVP. It is the first time in World Series history that a team has won the World Series without winning any of their home games.
The Jazz defeated the Clippers 110-96 last night.
His numbers were outstanding a year ago. Conley!
After struggling to start the season, Mike Conley broke out for the Jazz, scoring 29 points, 5 assists, and a rebound in 32 minutes of play. Donovan Mitchell also added 24 points. The Clippers were playing without star players Kawhi Leonard or Paul George. The Jazz are 4-1 on the season. They travel to Sacramento tomorrow to take on the Kings. And a new study at Brigham Young University suggests that kids who participate in sports may be more resilient.
NewsLine reporter Madeline Reber met up with a family who carries a big love for all things athletics.
My name's Jackson.
I'm Chase.
Jaden.
Their favorite sport?
Basketball, football.
Meet the Palmer family. 4 boys. Between all of them, a total of 10 sports. That's an average of 20 practices a week.
It ends up multiplying really quickly.
And though the weekends feel like a whirlwind of crazy, a new BYU study suggests the Palmer family knows exactly what they're doing.
We found that the more sports they participated in, the more resilient they tend to get rated.
Dr. Paul Caldarella is a psychologist and professor at Brigham Young University. He led a study looking at the correlation between children in sports, the number of sports played, and how resilient they are.
Having a student who's consistently engaging in some kind of a sport is beneficial. It seemed to be related to more positive ratings of resilience.
So what about sports builds resilience? A few ideas. Teamwork, setbacks, and commitment.
It's always so competitive with my dad.
The boy's dad, Chase, says that teamwork is key to life.
Nobody's the same. Everybody's got different ideas, but you have to work together if you want to win.
With setbacks, Emily says that as good as victory feels,
It takes failure to become resilient.
and sticking to something teaches commitment.
If you want to be resilient, it takes practice.
The Palmer family sees a lot of practice these days.
It's a lot, but it's a lot of fun.
And if it means the Palmer boys build strong character and resilience, she says she'll never stop. Reporting for Newsline in Provo, I'm Madeline Reber.
You can be the greatest, you can be the best, you can be the king, come banging on your chest. You can beat the world, you can beat the war, you could talk to God, go banging on his door. You can throw your hands up, you can beat the clock, you can move a mountain, you can break rocks, you can be a master, don't wait for luck, dedicate yourself and you can find yourself. Stand in the Hall of Fame.
The decorations are set up, the ghosts are out, and it's finally Halloween.
Many people are excited to go out trick-or-treating tonight, but what Utah trick-or-treaters are hoping for the most, according to Adweek, Utah's favorite candy is Sour Patch Kids. The information is pulled mostly from millennials and Gen Z. The only other state that shares this love for Sour Patch Kids is Alabama. Hopefully Utah residents did their research before tonight so they can have all the candy that trick-or-treaters are looking for.
Cool stuff. Anybody want some candy? There you go. There you go.
Yeah, I think Lynn doesn't need some pop for maybe a dog treat.
Oh, what?
Oh.
You want them? Ah! We got the whole everyone who's part of the production process here with us today. We got it. What is it? Chicken, bacon, Harry Potter, cowgirl, Spider-Man, and Spider Dog. Sorry, I don't get everything right all the time. Elsa, Scarecrow, Cow, Old Lady. Thanks for joining us today.
We've had a fun time with you guys today. Make sure to share our stories, and we will see you another day.
See ya.
Happy Halloween.